Hello guys, we're back with the candidates tournament. We are in round 8 so far. It was an amazing tournament and now we have clash of the two titans. We have Fabiano Caruana with the white pieces, really needs a win, so in this round he will be facing Anish Giri, who is playing phenomenal chess. In round 7 he defeated Brog, he got his revenge, so we will see what will happen in this game, but I know you're wondering if I got some photo challenge for you guys, so let's see. Here we go. A very nice photo, so we can enjoy before we start the game. I'm going to make a little more bigger so you guys can enjoy it. Here you can see on the left side is Fabiano Caruana shaking hands with Anish Giri, so a very nice photo, so you can get in the mood. But now we begin. Let's get straight to the action. Fabiano with the white pieces opened the game with e4. We have e5, knight to f3, attacking the pawn, and knight to c6, standard stuff, and bishop c4, going for the Italian game is on the board. We have bishop to c5, castles, and knight to f6, going for the fried liver, maybe, but the bishop is out, so not worrying about those nasty tricks. We have d3. This is the Giuoco piano game, Giuoco pianissimo, and castles by Giri, knight from b to d2. This is standard. d6, trying to get that bishop out. And now c3, not worried about the pin. And we have a5, preventing some b4 ideas and making the h7 square available for this dark square bishop. We have h3, a very useful move, preventing black pieces coming to this annoying square. And bishop to e6, challenging this light square bishop. Here bishop to b5 was played, and in this position you can play a lot of moves. You can play a4, rook e1, or you can put the bishop back, doesn't really matter. But Fabi chose the second most popular move, which is bishop to b5, and we have bishop goes back to a7 and rook to e1. Knight jumps to e7, maybe preparing to maneuver the knight to g6 square. We will see. We have d4 by Fabi, striking the center, and knight to g6. Yeah, as I expected, the knights will come to that f4 square. This is the usual plan in the Italian. And now we have bishop goes back to d3, nicely defending this e4 pawn, and knight goes to h5. The knights are looking at this f4 square. We have knight to f1, maybe preparing knight g3 or knight e3 ideas. And we have knight from h to f4. Knight g3, a lot of maneuvering in the opening stages of the game. And now here Fabi let his didn't move his piece, so Giri decided that this bishop will fall. So he took the bishop, queen takes the bishop, and as you will see in the game, how important is the light square bishop in the Italian. So let's see what happens. Here a4 was played by Giri, and now this is the first Fabi played d5, which is inaccuracy. And in this position, when you look at the position, the evaluation dropped because this is not the right way to go. The best approach is to play bishop to e3. You need to secure this d4 pawn, and if the trades happen, you have additional support to that d4 square. And secondly, you need to counter attack this dark square bishop with your bishop, because this dark square bishop is very annoying piece. We would see something like bishop to b6 and rook from e to d1, and play would continue. But it's not a mistake, but it's not the way to go. Bishop to d7 was played, and now bishop to g5. This move was a surprise to me. I was expecting in this position maybe something like bishop to e3, trying to trade this annoying piece, but who am I to judge? Bishop g5, we have f6, gaining a tempo on the bishop, and bishop goes back to e3. We have a trade, bishop takes, and f takes on e3. This is perfectly fine, perfectly normal. The f file is opened, so the rooks can join the attack, and this square is covered by this pawn, so makes sense. b5 was played, and now b4, the best move. And a takes on b3, and passant. A takes on b3, and here queen goes to b8, trying to get the queen to that b6 square and hide that white king. This is the plan. We have c4 by Fabi and queen to b6. Yeah, knight jumps to f5. The knight is very annoying piece on that square, but you don't want to give up the bishop, because this would be much better now for sorry, first you need to unpin. This would be much better for, and here we would see something like b4. This would be much better for white. So in this position we have rook from f to e8, and knight from 3 to h4, putting some pressure on this knight. And if the bishop captures, you can recapture with h4 knight. We have b4, closing the structure and making a3 square available for your rooks. We have king goes to h2, a very useful move. You need to unpin, so this pawn will not fall with check. We have rook a3 and and the rook from a to b1, defending this pawn. And now, as you can see, Fabi has got two weaknesses in his camp. He's got a weak e3 pawn and a weak b3 pawn, and there's no breakthrough. As you can see, Giri's plan is pretty straightforward. He will put the rooks on an open a file. He controls the a file, and some pressure along this diagonal. The bishop is nicely covering the light square, so the plan is pretty straightforward. And if you look at white's position, it's really hard to make moves. It's really hard for Fabi to find the right plan. But let's see what happened. We have rook a2 going on that second rank, and queen goes to d1, maybe trying to get the rook to e2 square. We have knight takes on h4, knight takes on h4, and doubling the rooks. Like I said, the plan is pretty straightforward. Rook e2, trying to trade off the rooks, and queen goes to a7. Rook c1, maybe preparing rook c2, and we have queen goes back to b6, and now knight to f3, which is the first mistake in the game, and here Anish Giri is better. Here I'm going to show you one very interesting line of what should have been played, and if played correctly, the game would be a draw. Here, Fabi needed to take the rook, and we would see trades. And now queen f3. Rook goes to a3, putting pressure on this pawn, but you don't care about this pawn. You play knight to f5. And now rook takes the pawn, you play rook f1. You put a lot of pressure on that f file. You got knight is eyeing that e7 square, and now if bishop takes, we would see something like queen takes, queen goes back to b8 to defend the 8th rank, and queen delivers check on e6, and now this is a draw. You will see why. King goes to f8, and now you sack a rook. Rook takes on f6, g takes on f6, and queen takes. And now this is perpetual check. You cannot escape with a king. Let's say king goes on g8, you deliver a nice check, king goes back, queen f6 check, and now you can even lose the game. If you go to e8 square, you're losing. Queen h8, and now you move the king and you pick up the queen, so now white is winning. If we go back, knight to f3 was played, and now we have h6 by Giri and knight to e1, maybe trying to get that knight to that d3 square. We have king goes to h7, and now we have a trade of the rooks. Rook takes on a2, and knight to c2, defending that weak e3 pawn, and we have bishop to e8, nicely controlling the light squares, preparing to put the bishop on g6 square to put pressure on that weak e4 pawn. So here Fabi defended with queen to d3, which is the second mistake in the game, and I'm going to show you what should have been played. It's very ugly move to find over the board, but king to g3 is the best approach. We would see something like bishop g6, putting some pressure on that pawn, but king f3 nicely defends. And now with c5, let's say for example, you're forcing a rook trade. And if queen a6 to put some more pressure on that a1 rook, you play queen b1 to further attack this rook. And now let's say for example, captures, and black of course doesn't want to trade because he's better. The best move would be to play queen to c8 and maybe prepare f5 and knight to e1. Let's say for example we have f5 and queen a2, but now we would see something like f takes on e4 and king goes to f2 and queen to d8. Yeah, white is positionally lost, but this would be the best probably defense that white had. But as you will see in the game, Fabi suffered a lot. Queen to d3 was played, and now bishop to g6. The pawn is pinned, so you cannot move the queen. Rook is putting a lot of pressure on that second rank. Queen is eyeing that e3 pawn, so you got every piece is tied up. This pawn is weak, this pawn is weak, even this pawn is weak, so a lot of pressure. Fabi tried to trade off rooks, and and now here Anish Giri recaptured. Rook takes on a1, knight takes on a1 and c5. Here the best approach would be to play for queen a5, trying to infiltrate the position, and we would see something like knight jumps to c2 and h5. This would be the best approach, but the position is plays itself for Giri, we have c5, king goes to g3. This is now too slow and missed opportunity for Fabi. Queen goes to a7 and now queen b1, nicely defending the a1 knight, and h5 by Giri. We have king goes to f3 and even h4, preventing any future advancement of the g pawn, and we have g4. Sorry, and we have king to g4 and queen to e7. Queen goes to d3, and now in this position, Giri played f5 with check, trying to bust open the position. E takes on f5, and now this is the critical position. You're black, try to win the game in one move. What do you play? The coldest move in this tournament was played by Anish, Giri, and this is king to h6, a brilliant move. You give up the piece for a quick checkmate, and it was also in this position on move 43 that Fabiano Caruana resigned the game, because there is no defense. Let's say, for example, if you accept the bishop, you get e4, you first attack the queen, and now let's say, for example, if you move the queen somewhere, you're getting mated. This is a nice checkmate, so you can't play that. Let's go back. If you go with the king, let's say, to f5 square, it's mate in two. It's queen e5, and this pawn is nicely covering that g3 square. The queen is nicely covering the f4 square. This is the only move, and this is again a nice checkmate. So that doesn't work. If you go, for example, let's say in this position, let's say you put the king on f3 square and you don't capture the piece, black would still play e4 check. And now if the queen accepts the pawn, you play bishop h5 check. And now this pawn is nicely covering the dark square. So if you play, let's say, king to f4, this is a nice mate because the pawn is nicely covering the e5 square. And let's say, for example, if you play a king to f2 square, you just pick up the queen and you're completely winning. So yeah, a very nice move, a very nice found by Anish Giri. He's still fighting for that first place. He bounced back, and now he's playing very well. He's 1 point ahead of Fabi. And yeah, Sindaro drew his game. So I don't have the standings because one more game is still playing, but I'll continue to cover this COLDEST tournament. Hope you enjoyed in the game, and if you enjoy it, please consider to subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon with the next chess video. Goodbye.